that what it's called?
Amendments to the Local Authorities Election Act. What did you think of the changes that are being proposed by the provincial government?
Well, they've been promising for months that they're going to take the big money out of politics and they're going to regulate third parties. What they did was they put up a giant billboard that said elections for sale. $30,000 limit per donor, per PAC. That's unlimited money. That means you can spend whatever you want, because once you hit $30,000 to one organization, you just start another one and give them $30,000 to do the same thing. This is worse than no regulation, and there are no, because now they've set an expectation of how much people should be spending, and there are no disclosure limits. So this is unspeakable. It's the worst piece of election legislation I've ever seen in Canada.
If this goes forward, what would be the impact on municipal politics in a city the size of Calgary?
Well, listen, we have banned corporate and union donations, meaning that real estate developers and others can no longer make donations from their corporate body. But now we've opened an unlimited door for them to spend as much as they want on advertising, on endorsing candidates, on whatever they want to do. It's just shocking.
I'm trying to figure out the landscape here. So it's like these well-heeled people, they can't give to a particular candidate, but what, a candidate or their friends could set up a PAC to lobby on their behalf or extol their virtues?
Yes, that's exactly right. I could set up, well, I couldn't because I'm the candidate, but my best friend George could set up Citizens for Nahid, and basically Citizens for Nahid would have unlimited money to do billboards, lawn signs, whatever they wanted, as long as Nahid had nothing to do with it.
And so the impact on the democratic process?
Bad.
How do you expect that to affect the voters, though?
Well, this is an interesting question, because by and large we found that third-party advertisers don't have huge impact on voters in most cases. But if you think about it this way, if you are, let's say, a PTA president who decides she wants to run for council in her neighborhood and is really relying on grassroots, you could have someone spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to promote your opponent. And those grassroots campaigns just won't work anymore. So, while we have good restrictions on individual candidates, to put no restrictions on third parties it's lunacy. I think I've said that every possible way I could say it.
Okay. Looking ahead a little bit, because I don't know if I'll see you in the next 2 days. You can't talk about what's going to be in the budget adjustments on Monday, but what do you think Calgarians should maybe prepare themselves to see in these adjustments?
Well, we did tell administration that they must come back with a tax freeze or better for this coming year. So on the one hand, I think citizens don't really have to worry about their tax bill, but on the other hand, they have to really be thoughtful about what services they don't want to see cut.
So have you seen it yet yourself?
I have had a preview of it today.
Okay.
But I haven't seen it yet. I'll see it when everyone else sees it.
But based on what you've been hearing, the emails back and forth with city officials, is this an austerity budget? Is it a
Oh, look, it's certainly an austerity budget.
Deep cuts?
It is certainly an austerity budget. That is what council has put forward. It will be the 5th year in a row, if passed, that we are increasing taxes by less than inflation plus growth, meaning that really it's a cut. And of course, administration has worked very hard to avoid cuts to frontline services, but it's impossible to do as much as we're trying to do here without citizens seeing some impact.
Sorry, you said raising taxes. I thought it was supposed to be a freeze.
That's what I said. Raising taxes less than inflation plus population growth. Sometimes we've frozen them, sometimes we cut them, but we have been behind inflation every year for 5 years.
Are you in a position yet to talk about the issue of whether there would be another PTP?
Well, certainly I can say that I, like many others, am concerned about the impact that the assessment shift is going to have on large warehouses and distribution centers. And I have asked to see what we can do to provide some assistance to those folks. I know this sounds like a broken record. We spent, I think, over $500 million so far on cushioning businesses from the impact of these assessment shifts. Council last year signaled that they didn't have any more appetite for that, but once they've seen some of these numbers for this specific sector, we're back to thinking about how can we target assistance directly to this sector without accidentally including a lot of others and it being very expensive.
And the theory being one time again?
Yeah.
Is that a budget week decision, or will that wait till the new year?
Last year we waited, well, the year before last we waited too long, so I would prefer to do that during budget week if we can.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a sense of it. Will there be widespread changes, do you think, in terms of what's on the books right now?
I think that's fair to say. I mean, again, I haven't seen the budget yet, but these are big numbers we're talking about.
Yeah, so as adjustments go, this won't be just a tweak here and a tweak there. It's a
No,
more
there will
of
be
a,
some changes. This is what we call mid-cycle adjustments. It's the middle budget of the 4-year cycle, which means the adjustments, the changes are typically larger than they would be in the second or the 4th year.
but for a mid-cycle, this will be more than what we've seen in the past.
Yes,
Okay.
because the original budget that we passed 2 years ago looked at a 3.5, 3.5 or 3.05. Anyway, looked at above a 3% tax increase, and of course that's gone now, so that's going to be quite different. Right? Thank you guys. Oh, sorry. Adam, go ahead.
Quick question. Rocky View Hospital has become the 3rd hospital in the city.
Oh, I
with
didn't know
outbreak.
that.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as I've been saying all week, the numbers are extremely troubling, and now the hospitalization numbers and the death numbers are catching up to being as troubling as the new case numbers. So ultimately, I'm just a wind-up doll on this stuff, right? It is good hygiene, wash your hands, cover your cough, stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask. This stuff really matters. It really makes a difference. Keep yourself and keep others safe.
And were you aware that, on another issue, were you aware that Edmonton had passed the lower residential speed limit?
I heard that while I was in council.
Mhm.
So, it's interesting that they've chosen to move forward. Did they do it on collector and residential, or just collector, do you know? Or just residential, do you know?
I did not see that detail.
Yeah, I don't mind waiting until February to have a big think about this and look at all of the options. The rate I'm going, it's going to take quite a lot to convince me that we should do this at a plebiscite instead of just having the courage to make a decision.